Hello and welcome to the Peak Endurance Podcast. We're back.
We are back.
And let the celebrations begin.
In sunny Melbourne,
Yeah, would you believe it or not? Blue skies.
Blue skies. Very cold, very crisp, but it's
yeah, it was I ran this morning and it was 4 degrees when we got up. And it was 5 degrees by the time I headed out.
Yeah.
Which was 6:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it wasn't too bad. It was no Scarfell Pike.
No. And speaking of which, my run on Wednesday
was a bit reminiscent.
Evening was very reminiscent of Scarfell Pike without the wind.
Yes.
There was no wind, but it was very wet and very cold.
And very miserable because you were messaging me from the car going, you're questioning your life choices.
Sitting in the car, trying to build up.
Because he went there on his way home from work.
Yes, that's right. So I stopped in the car and, got my shoes on and everything. And I was sitting in the car. Really, it took me a good 10 minutes.
Why am I a runner?
It took me a good 10 minutes to actually open the door and get out.
Yeah. He was messaging.
Yes, I was. So,
anyway, I'm Isabel Tate.
Oh, yes, and I am Ron Tate, and we are
Peak Endurance Podcast.
That's right.
I did say Peak Endurance Podcast. I just didn't say who we were. Yeah. But we all just figure if you're listening to this, you know.
You know, that's right.
You know. If you know, you know.
And so we've been back from our trip to the UK for
not even a week.
And a half. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a week and a half.
Oh,
yeah. Goodness me.
Oh, yes, it has.
Because we got back Tuesday.
I just told someone I got back on Tuesday.
We did technically, except that it was Tuesday a week ago.
No, I said it was Tuesday this week. It feels like I've had the worst jet lag. I still don't know if I'm Martha or Martha, or maybe both. Right.
Yeah, we've both struggled a little bit, but you seem to have really struggled. Both with sleep and with
not feeling well.
Not feeling well, yeah.
I've been nauseous since we got home.
Yeah.
I did tell Ron it could be morning sickness, but
there's a couple of reasons why that's not the case.
Well, really only one reason.
Yeah, and
someone's had the sniff.
Someone's had the sniff.
That's the only reason. So, other than that,
morning sickness is very alarming for a very big reason.
Well, it has been known to not work. Just saying. Sorry, I'm moving the head. It has been known to not work.
Yes, but it's not like I got it done last week. So
whatever, it has been known, even then. So you never know. Yeah. But it's not. It's not morning.
It's not morning sickness.
Been confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, but I just feel nauseous constantly. And I've gone off all my favorite foods, literally. My normal porridge, can't eat that, can't stand it. And I've been eating porridge for 20 years probably. And my normal salad for lunch that I normally have, which I've been having probably for the last 15 years, gone off that. It makes, so everything I've gone off, I'm not interested in the food.
No.
I don't know what to do.
So, folks, if you've got any good lunch suggestions.
I tried eggs on toast today, and now I feel really sick. And I'm having cereal at the moment, but it's just sugary shit cereal. So I'm going to try and my, what's it called?
Yogurt.
My yogurt muesli mix. It's got a name. Holy moly, you have it in Switzerland. I've had it the first time when I was in Switzerland when I was 16. But the woman grated apple into it. And of course, I'm fructose intolerant. So I was sitting on the toilet quite a lot after that one. What the hell is it called?
Is it a Swiss mix?
No.
Swiss.
Bircher.
Oh, okay.
Bircher muesli. So I've made Bircher muesli for tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes because I've made the most ginormous batch by accident.
So you better like it.
I think I'll be eating Bircher for about a week. Because I thought I'll make a big batch and then put it out rather than making it individually every day because you've got to let it soak.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, sort of by the time I got because I put almonds and raisins in it, or sultanas, they're just so old, they look like raisins. By the time, I've got to get the ratios right with oats.
Yeah.
So then by the time we had an awfully large amount, I used an entire big tub of yogurt.
Right, okay.
And it's not enough. I'm going to buy some more yogurt on the way home from yoga and add some more.
So you're going to buy yogurt on the way home from yoga?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Don't get it around the wrong way.
Yogurt from yoga. See, I say it differently. Yeah. It's funny though. Did you notice your cousin said yogurt?
Yeah, but that's because they've been in the
I know,
UK.
but they at first thought, they were saying, oh, yogurt. And I'm like, no, I say yogurt. Anyway, we digress.
Yes.
So I'm still really tired. I had such terrible, if you get my email, you'll have gotten the story of my terrible run on Sunday, because I was like delirious from like literally delirious. I felt delirious. My Meniere's was playing up. So I was dizzy AF, and I felt like a bag of poo.
Yeah.
And so I took sleeping tablets that night, because it had been from the Tuesday to the Sunday, and I was ruined. And one of my athletes had suggested, because he does a lot of travel, that just have some sleeping tablets. So I've got some that I'd bought in Canada like a long time ago. So who knows whether it's placebo effect or not. But these are ones that don't make me groggy. So I took a couple of them, and that was the next day. I felt like a new woman, because your brain just goes mental. That's why they use lack of sleep as a form of torture, is because you just literally go insane. And I just had a reset. My brain got to rest, even though it's not like probably real sleep. So I took sleeping tablets for 2 nights, and then I've been fine since. I just needed the reset.
Yeah.
And, like I said, they're just over-the-counter ones. They're not, prescription ones. They're not particularly strong. So, but then I've been just feeling nauseous ever since we got back. Which is not awesome fun.
No, it's
because I love eating food, but every time
right.
I eat, I feel sick, and so I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and we've been doing the usual waking up at odd hours of the night. I think there were a couple of mornings where we were awake by 3:30 in the morning.
One night I was awake by 11:30 at night, and I lay there. That was like the Friday night or something. That's why by Sunday I was ruined. And I lay there, and it was just the most boring night. The next night it was 12:30. Seriously. Anyway, yes, so, like the one night there was a possum made some noises, and I heard Ron move, and I'm like, are you awake?
I heard that whisper in the night, a dreaded whisper in the night. Are you awake?
And he's like,
first of all, I was like, should I answer that?
And I poked you in the arm, I think.
So I gave up an answer
because I was so fucking bored. I'm just lying there with my own thoughts. It wasn't fun.
No,
it wasn't fun. So I mean, I'm still not sleeping perfectly, and also I've been having terrible headaches. I think I'm battling. I ended up, because of the lack of sleep, getting a cold sore, which if you're watching the video you can see a little mark, not a bad cold sore, but that tells me I'm run down.
That's normally, you always get a cold sore when you
normally after a race,
or after a big race, when you run down.
When I'm run down, and normally after a race, because of lack of sleep. Lack of sleep does a number on me. And so, and I've just I don't know, seriously, I just need to feel normal again. I mean, I'm not normal, so but
feel normal for you.
Normal for me, my normal, the new normal. So, anyway, so we've got lots of things to talk about. This is going to be a ramble cast.
It is. We're
going to talk about a few different things
on a particular subject today.
If you're watching the YouTube, you can see my delightful scroll that is my notes for the podcast.
That's right. It's done 5 minutes before we started.
Yes, but I had them marinating in my brain for a while.
So what where were we when we did the last podcast?
I think that was after Scarfell Pike, so we were in Keswick.
Yes, we were. We were in the land room at Keswick. So after we left
Keswick,
so after, I think maybe the last day that we were in Keswick, we did the Yorkshire Three Peaks,
and we got sunburned.
which was another long day, but this time we actually got sunburned. So
Jesus Christ.
2 days after
nearly getting hypothermia, we got sunburned.
We went out and got sunburned.
Oh, is it any wonder my body is screwed up at the moment?
So it was a beautiful sunny day, a bit windy at the top of the peaks, but
and I was just knackered. After that Scarfell, that ruined me for the rest of the trip.
So the Yorkshire Three Peaks it was 39 kilometres,
something
I think,
like that,
something like that. And
I did it many years ago in 2008 or something, as part of the World Championships. Slightly different course, because it was World Championships, and we did a bit more fell running-ish.
And it had to be a marathon. I think they increased it to make it about a marathon distance. And I remember at the time I didn't love it, because I didn't love running
on the English terrain, which, as you've seen, it's really hard.
Yes.
And I remember, and I was telling you while we were doing it, how grumpy I was during the race, you know.
Yeah.
I hate this, I hate the rocks, and I hate the bog and everything. And of course, I did fall in the bog.
We did. We didn't.
When I did the race, I lost my shoes in the bog and was running in my socks, and I had to go back and get my shoes. But this time I was knee deep in bog.
We didn't actually follow the hiking loop.
No, we followed
which is an established path. What we did, we followed a different kind of loop, which it was still a path.
It was it was like on the bushwalking.
Yeah, but it was more of a tramping path, I think, which kind of cut straight across the moors rather than along the established path.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know. I can't remember what I did. I mean, I don't even know if surely I wore a garment, so it's probably there somewhere.
So needless to say, there was a lot of dodging.
And it was so funny because I watched Ron. Was it that? Oh no, that was
that was where you lost your foot.
Yeah, I slipped once on my ass after we said, "Let's be careful."
Let's be careful because it was getting a bit slippery.
Yeah, so I slipped on my ass, and then Ron was crossing a bog, and he got his little tootsies muddy, and I went, "Oh, I don't want to go that way because I don't want to get my tootsies muddy." So I went the other way and was knee deep in the bog, and he's standing there fucking laughing at me, and I could not pull my legs out because it was so like sucking me in like quicksand.
So she said, "Can you give me a hand?" So I
said either that or
film it. So I got the camera out and filmed it.
Yeah. So priorities.
So we cut across the bog, and then after that, once we got off that bog, then we were on established pathways.
Yeah, I'm just gonna my son's dehumidifier is going hell for leather. You've got some.
I don't know how to turn it off. So and that once again, it was only 1,500 meters of climbing within the whole thing, but the nature of the English countryside is that the paths are so rocky that you can't really get up a good rhythm on your run, so you're constantly stopping and stepping,
and there's all these hard stepping downs, and when you've got dodgy knees like we do. But I do remember like that second peak. I forgot which one was that. Whernside. It might have been.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember coming off that in the World Championships and hating that then too. And it hadn't improved. Except it was nicer weather.
That was really steep
and rocky.
Like it had stairs and
off size,
and the stairs were really narrow, so you had to kind of step sideways on the stairs.
It was just horrible, but it was also awesome.
Yeah, but. So it was a great day out.
It was a great day out. It was a really good day, and it was nice to be warm, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. And by the time we finished, we were pretty
fucked.
Yeah, hot and bothered.
Yeah, so we went to the pub and got a cold drink and spoke to this lovely English couple.
Yeah, and who were telling us about their travels. They'd been
to New Zealand.
Yes, to New Zealand, but they were up in that area on holidays as well.
Yeah, they were lovely.
They'd been
They had all their hiking gear on, and we go, "Where have you been?" And they went, "Nowhere."
No, we've been on the steam train today. So they said they'd walked from the station, which was only about 200 meters up the road.
Yeah. So, but they were lovely, really. But the thing is, I just find the people in the UK lovely and friendly and wonderful.
Yeah.
And I did say to Ron, because I know on the other podcast I have been whinging a bit about Australians. And what I personally feel, and dear listener, let us know if you agree. I think in Australia, we have a COVID hangover that we, because like I was saying, Ron, like when I used to work at a school, you could tell the culture of a school comes from top down, from the principal down, and the mood of the school. Like I pick up on moods quite easily, and I can go into a school and, oh, it's this or it's that, right? And I think the mood of Australia is fucking depression. And I think it's from COVID. And of course, when people are depressed, and I'm not saying you all are, but there's an element of it, and PTSD to a certain extent. People aren't as friendly and outgoing and lovely. And everyone in the UK and Germany when we were there was friendly, outgoing, lovely. And everyone we spoke to, all the people said, oh, they just broke all the rules.
Yeah.
They didn't follow the rules, and their rules were no way near, especially if you lived in Victoria. Like no one had a 5-kilometre radius. No one had only 1 hour, including shopping, dog walking, exercising, everything to go out. No one had a ring of steel. No one had, like parts of their country fighting against each other and all that. They didn't have any of the stuff that we had, but still everyone was breaking it and doing their own thing and getting out and being physically active. And all I can say is everyone in the UK and Germany and Belgium that we met seemed so much happier and so much lighter. Like there was just a lighter atmosphere. Like, you know, like I said, I pick up on that. And in Australia, it's just a lot more heavy.
Yeah.
And Australians didn't used to be like that. That's why it bothers me so much, because I remember always thinking the opposite, that, you know, when I used to travel, when I'd come back, I think, wow, Australians are so friendly and lovely. But that seems to have gone. And I personally believe it's because of the COVID lockdowns and the psychological warfare that was played on us.
Yeah, that's right.
And I honestly believe, so I'm not blaming Australians per se. I think it's been something that's been done to us. And but I think we need to be aware of it to be able to get out of it.
We were essentially told that everyone we came in contact with was dangerous
when we were here. Yes.
During
and that
COVID.
We should dob on people.
So
you can't even trust your neighbor because they're going to dob on you.
Yeah. So it was so, you know, beat into us that it's been hard to let it go. And I think that has reflected everyone's attitudes towards other people.
When I was told, you know, I was in a 2-bedroom apartment with you, my daughter and a dog, and I'm not allowed to leave that tiny 2-bedroom apartment with a postage stamp for a garden. I'm not allowed to leave that for 23 hours a day. Are you kidding? Prisoners get treated better.
Yeah. So,
you know, like it's seriously, it was disgusting what was done to us. And there should be repercussions. There won't be. And now, you know, we have to pay for that through our taxes. The amount of extra tax that's been lumped on small business, let me assure you, is fucking criminal too, to pay for this. Small business is being made to pay for it. And I didn't get any of it. They wouldn't give me any goddamn money, even though I went from a good income to literally nothing overnight. So, I mean, I am psychologically scarred from it. I absolutely, because it was devastating for me. And, you know, but I've, you know, I've tried not to be effective of it. And I think many Australians still are. I'm not saying I'm perfect, you know, as you can hear, I get very angry about it, but anger is a more positive emotion than apathy. You know, apathy is not a good place to be. So I think we need to, I don't know what people need to do, but I think that's what the issue is. And let us know whether you agree with me, because honestly, I think Australians used to be lovely, happy-go-lucky, friendly, and it seems to be, and not everybody, obviously, not everybody.
We're generalising.
We're very much generalising, but especially in Victoria, you know, I think.
Yeah, we found, because, you know, through our hobby of running so much, we get out a lot and we pass people and we see people. We had a day that where we just ran around the local lake at Keswick.
Wasn't it fun?
And we had so much fun. The people, talking to people, joking with people.
I said to Ron, we're getting exhausted from saying hello.
Yeah, literally, we must have said
jokes
hello
with strangers.
Yeah, we must have said hello 1,000 times.
And everyone was smiling and happy and would strike up a conversation. And you know, it was invigorating for the soul.
Yeah, it was. You know? Particularly as it came the day after
our skull fell. We were a bit mentally damaged from that.
It was the day we needed, honestly.
It was. And you know, every run in the UK was hard, and that was meant to be an easy run around the lake, and it was still fucking hard.
Still hard.
It was still scrambling. There was flooded trails where literally it was over your feet, well, you know, mid shin almost.
Yeah.
It was still difficult, but it was the people what made it. The people. Right. And that was what I said to Ron about the whole trip. It was the people that made it so awesome.
Yeah.
And then
so once we left Keswick, we had a long drive, which, you know, as I'm sitting here in Australia getting ready to do an 8-hour drive next week to Adelaide, it doesn't seem all that far, but it just seems like when you're in England, everything seems closer.
So a long drive seems long.
For us, so we drove from Keswick down to the Channel, which was about a 6.5-hour drive. And then we crossed the Channel in the train.
Which was interesting.
Which was interesting, sitting in your car on a train under the Channel. and then we drove for another, what, hour and a half, 2 hours
Yeah, it was meant to
on
be
the other side.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
To
to
Lille.
Lille.
Yeah.
And that was where we spent the night, in Lille.
Yeah, this awesome Airbnb. The guy was so lovely,
It was
so helpful.
the best equipped Airbnb
Oh my God,
that we've ever stayed in.
Ever.
It had everything you could possibly think of, plus a few extras.
Yeah. And the guy there even said to us, you know, he spoke French, so it was
we spoke through Google Translate, which was interesting.
Yeah. But he basically said, you know, he goes, oh, I'll have to come to Australia because France is terrible now.
Yeah.
And I said, mate, well, not mate, but everywhere is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, you know, once again, since COVID,
yeah,
everywhere has gone downhill. I've done a lot of travel before COVID and after, and since COVID, the prosperity in every city has gone down.
Yeah.
Everything looks kind of gungy, and I mean, you know, the people are lovely, like we said, but everywhere has gone downhill. It's really, really sad.
Yeah. And we had an interesting run in Lille the next day. We got up and we explored, you know, a bit of, there was like an island where it was like an old, like the original castle or something in Lille.
So there was like an old section that was very Belgiumish.
No, but where the parkland was, where we ran. And we ran around the parkland. You don't even remember.
I remember now.
And then we got all the way around to the other side.
Yes. And the army guys.
It was some kind of army. I don't even know what it was, but it had something to do with the army.
Yes, and there were guys in full camo with machine guns hiding in the grass.
Standing in the long grass and amongst the trees, and you'd be running along.
We're looking at the map. We stop, we look at the map, and we look up, and there's this guy. So like,
this machine gun toting army guy.
And in the tall grass, because of course, like I said, everything's gone downhill, so nothing was mowed. It was just scary. And then you'd look, and there's another guy with a machine gun, and we saw about four just near us, and we're
just standing watching people go past holding machine guns, which in Australia the soldiers don't carry machine guns on the street. So it was quite alarming at first, and then it was just strange.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was 16, when I went to Switzerland, and I was just exploring a town on my own, which is what people did back in the day. Was they'd say to a 16-year-old with no phone, just go off and explore in a foreign country. And I remember seeing guys walking around with machine guns, and I thought World War III was about to start, because of course back then it was the Cold War. And I literally thought World War III was going to start, but I didn't think that this time, thank God. Although you never know. Feels like the Cold War again at the moment. But yeah, it was freaky. It was freaky.
So, and it was just but there were lots of people walking around just ignoring them.
So we did the same.
So we just did the same. And then we run through the old part of Lille, which was beautiful. Yeah, which was beautiful. Cobblestones, old buildings, really pretty. And then we got back in the car and we drove to Ghent in Belgium, which we went to a couple of years ago. Where
visited my friend Kat.
A friend of Isabel's lived.
Kat was an exchange student that came and lived with my family back when she was 16. And, you know, Kat and I got along really well. She used to come to hot yoga with me, and she got along really well with my daughter. But for some reason, Kat and I are the ones who have kept in contact. And we really clicked. Kat's just so lovely, just amazing. And, you know, we met her boyfriend last time, and he's lovely too, because of course she's so lovely. Of course he is.
Yeah.
And so we had brunch with them.
Yeah, stopped on the way through.
Yeah, which was really nice to be able to catch up again. Yeah. And then we drove on to see my second cousin Edith.
Yeah.
And in Germany, and the weather was beautiful in Germany, wasn't it?
It was
30s.
30s every day.
Not horrible heat. It was beautiful heat. Yeah. And we just love going to see Edith because she makes all this delicious German food.
She looks after us so well.
She spoils us rotten.
Yeah.
And he doesn't love that. The only thing is the amount of alcohol we're forced to consume. Yes.
I think from the minute we left Keswick, I think I might have drunk just about every single night.
You drank every night. I at least occasionally went, I can't. Like as soon as we arrived, she said, do you want a beer?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you want a drink? And I'm like, oh, yeah, nice cold water would be nice. Beer? I went, yeah, okay. So, yeah, I just can't. And you were having shots the first night. Like, I think I had
We all
one,
tried,
but you
yeah.
had like 2 or 3. It's just
Yeah.
like I just can't keep up with them. I
Yeah,
just
so
can't.
and
And you
we
don't drink. You normally are less of a drinker
yeah,
than
that's
me.
right. But I mean, I do love the German beer,
The
and
German beer is
plus,
nice.
and it just goes well with the food.
It does. It does.
You
And
know?
there's something about whenever we're in Germany, you seem to
Yeah.
drink like a fish,
Yeah.
whereas I still can't. Alcohol, I love to have a drink, but after I have about 2, my stomach rebels.
Yeah. And we spent a lovely day by the lake.
Yeah, she's got a little house on the lake nearby. So we went and sat there with Christian and his family and Ulrika, and we went in the water, but it was gross because it had all gooby lake things in it.
Yeah.
And Ron was really surprised. I think he's not used to me acting like a girl sometimes.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'm like,
oh, I can feel it touching me.
And it was funny because you're like, Isabel, what are you doing?
It's just
like it's shock face, and I'm like,
it's just a little bit of.
It was gross when it touched me, and you could see it like all green and it was just full of it. Oh, it was like a thing of nightmares.
Because it was the first, really the first time they'd used it since winter.
Since the previous summer.
Oh, well, yeah, since after winter. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
it needed a bit of like the
stirring
water,
up.
Yeah, stirring up. The water was a little bit
it was
murky and
gross. It was
gross. They have a bit of a beach behind their
so they were waiting the beach.
So
they wouldn't let us do it. And seriously, once again, drinking, Christian just kept topping up my wine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you had a wine glass on the go that never got empty.
No. But surprisingly, I didn't get drunk because it was over so many hours, and we had yummy pizza.
We had yummy pizza that was made especially for us.
Yes, because they'd never heard of Meat Lovers.
They didn't know what Meat Lovers pizza was, and we just said it's a pizza with lots of meat on it.
So he ran up the pizza shop and he spoke personally to the chef and said, "Just lots of meat."
So it came with all different kinds of meat.
And it was actually really good.
Yeah.
It was almost better than Meat Lovers here because it wasn't salami. It was like fair income real meat.
That's right.
It was brilliant. Yeah. I was like, that was good.
Yep.
So
so that was good. And, and we went to Edith's favorite chicken place.
Oh yeah. Where you get half a chicken.
You get half a chicken and chips.
And like it was pumping that place. Oh. There were so many chickens losing their lives. Oh, God. I was sitting there feeling so sorry for the chickens. I could just see there's no way these were free range chicken. This was factory farmed. It had to have been
pumping that chicken out like
God, you just couldn't think about it. You couldn't. But it was good. But and of course we drank more beer. And then when we went to the Schwetzinger Castle after we'd done our long run in the Odenwald, and we had beer again.
Yeah,
and I had sausage salad
and had beer. More beer.
But I do love their beer. Like I'm not big on Australian beer, but German beer and Canadian beer. I like German beer and Canadian beer. Anyway, and then we went to London. We've got
drove back to England again via the tunnel.
Yeah, a long drive again, which I happily slept through part of that because it was so boring as a passenger.
And the route we took, because we went a different way from the way we went there, because we didn't need to go through Belgium this time.
Yeah.
So we kind of headed straight for Paris and then turned north and up towards the tunnel just before we got to Paris. And it took us on some toll roads.
And we're like, wow, there's no cars. Yeah, the traffic's so good. I wonder why.
Yeah, it was because it cost... It ended up costing us over €50 in tolls,
which is over $100.
$100 in tolls, and we're like, oh, okay, so that's why there's no traffic.
Holy moly!
If we had gone the other way, it might have taken us an extra half an hour.
Yeah,
over 6 hours.
Yeah, like who cares?
Except it would have cost a lot less.
And you had to tap your phone, and
So you didn't know. We had no idea how much it was costing us until we looked at our bank accounts, and we're like, oh my God.
Yeah. So word to the wise, don't
take that road. Yeah.
Anyway, so then we got back. We went to London. Stayed with your cousin.
Yep. Cousin Michael.
Yep, and that was awesome. He's got the most beautiful place.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God! And they're right in this little sort of court area with a big central park in the middle and a pub. And this pub, everyone comes out and they play bocce in the park, and everyone, you're allowed to just walk across and take your drinks. It was just once again so awesome.
If you want to drink outside, they just give you your drinks in a plastic cup, and you can just take it out into the park.
But it was just, and it's just such a relaxed, cool, beautiful, mind you, noisy
very
as fuck.
noisy at night.
Yeah, like, because we'd be going to bed at 8:30, and these partiers would be up until 11:30.
Well, technically, I think they were supposed to clear out at 11, but I'm pretty sure they weren't clearing.
No, they weren't. But it was also a thoroughfare. Like if you caught the station and you were coming home, like on Friday or Saturday night, and we always heard that too. These drunk people coming home, and this woman singing at like midnight. Anyway, we got through that.
Yeah. So
basically, that entire trip we had terrible sleep because the sun wouldn't go down until like 10:30, 11, and the sun came up at 4:30. So we'd go to bed in the light, get up in the light. And we never slept in. We just couldn't.
No, we couldn't sleep in.
The latest we slept in, I think, once was 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So is it any wonder I came home and then with jet lag, I'm like I literally, I was like, it was like at the end of a mile. I was off my nut.
So we did a few nice runs around London.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Taking in some touristy sites.
Yeah.
Doing what we do by, doing
tourist runs.
Yeah. We checked out Greenwich.
Yeah.
Greenwich
Observatory.
We went to we ran over to Battersea Park to do park run, only to find that park run was cancelled that week due to a different kind of an event.
Yep.
So we missed park run there. We did do park run in Keswick.
Yep.
But we missed it in London.
Anyway, such is life. Yeah. We just had a great time in London. It was awesome. And we just went out to pubs every night for dinner, went to a nice Indian, and, it was really good. Like we had a great time, loved it there.
Mm-hmm.
Caught up with Dim, my friend from primary school, because she lives there, and Dim and I try to catch up once a year when she comes to Australia, but this time I could, and that was great to catch up with her. And so that was good. And then we came home, and the flight back wasn't as heinous as I thought it would be. Watched lots of good shows, had a bit of sleep. The guy next to Ron was super weird.
That was weird.
Oh my God, the 15-hour flight. He didn't watch any shows. He didn't sleep. He just sat there and stared at the blank screen.
Every now and then he'd catch my eye and I'd turn around and he'd just be staring into the seat in front of him. Yeah. Or staring into the screen, except there was nothing on the screen.
For 15 hours.
It was very weird. He just sat there and stared.
And I don't know how old he was. He was older than us. But that's hard to tell because not many people are older than us anymore. So he would have been probably in his 60s.
Yeah, I would have said that.
60s.
Yeah.
And seriously, what the fuck? Was he meditating? Was he what?
I don't know.
15 hours. Staring, doing alone with his thoughts. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Very, very strange.
Very strange. Didn't read a book.
No.
Nothing.
Just sat there staring ahead.
What? I don't know. How do you do that? I don't know. Very strange. Very strange. I mean, I admire him. Well done. The only time he did anything different was when he got up and let us out to go to the toilet, because of course we were in the middle.
Yeah.
And the girl on my side was watching some cheerleading shit.
Oh, was she? And she seemed to sleep a lot too.
She slept a lot, and so I was always too nervous to ask her to do anything. But seeing as he was awake the whole time.
There was once where he got up, so we got up, and then there was another time I think where we asked him if we could get up. Yeah. But we were stuck in the middle of the plane, so we didn't have an aisle on either side. We didn't actually get great seats this time.
Terrible seats. No aisle seats.
Yeah, we were stuck in the middle.
And on one of the flights, we were stuck in the middle, and you were window, I was middle, and the girl next to me took a fucking sleeping tablet. Trapped. Anyway, so we're back here in Australia.
Yep.
And I have to say I'm loving the crisp cold weather, loving it. Got Mila next week, which I'm still stuffed.
We've got the long drive to Adelaide next Thursday.
Yep, and then the race starts at midnight on Friday.
Yeah.
It's such a hard time to start. Not my favourite sort of time to start, but whatever.
So we'll try and on Friday we'll get things ready and then try and have a bit of a sleep in the mid-afternoon.
Yeah. because you'll need to sleep too, because you're crewing, and then you're pacing me for the last 19-kilometer concrete jaunt.
Yeah, that's right. So,
and you're going to catch an Uber. Ron will be at the end. Then he'll catch an Uber to the spot where he's going to pace me from, and then he's going to pace me.
Because it's right, basically, the finish is right in the middle of Adelaide. So I'll park there and then catch an Uber out.
Yeah.
Out to where the trail ends and the bike path starts.
Yep. Because I'll need some moral support on that, because I hate that bit.
Yeah. It's a tough section at the end of a race.
It is, concrete.
We've done that section twice now in both the 50-kilometer and the 100-kilometer events at Ultra Adelaide.
Yeah.
So Isabel's upping the ante and doing the miler this time, but it still ends on that same concrete section.
But it is, as much as I say I hate it, it's actually a great finish, because you come into the time, and I love a point-to-point race. So yes. Yeah. Anyway. So we've talked about that. Oh, and jet lag, it just brings to mind how important sleep is, essentially. And that if you're running on fumes and very little sleep, you're not going to get the best out of yourself as a runner. You're just not. It's impossible. So you need to get your sleep. And it's not a badge of honor how little sleep you can get or how late you can stay up and still manage to run. It's actually not a badge of honor. It's really bad for you. And even if you don't feel the effects straight away, it's long term, it's not good for you either. Lack of sleep, leads to things like dementia and all that sort of stuff. It's just not good for your brain. Next, shoes. So let's talk about shoes. Because I don't know if people know, but I experience a lot of pain when I run normally. Like my bones seem to hurt and my knees hurt. Anyway, we were in the UK and I was going to throw out this pair of shoes because, we needed to travel home, and we were ditching.
Yeah, we both had some old shoes that we planned to use while we're there and then just throw them in the bin, not bring them home. Yeah.
And, every run had hurt, and far right. So I ordered some new shoes, got home and ran with them. And did you know, none of my bones hurt. My knees didn't, nothing hurt. And I'm like, what the devilry is this? So then I went onto my laptop and checked out when I'd last bought some road shoes. Oh, that would be October last year. So 9 months ago. And I run big kilometers-ish, 100 to 120 Ks a week, not all in my road shoes, but I would say on average, probably 80 kilometers a week in road shoes. Yep. So 9 months of 80 kilometers a week, over 2 pairs of shoes, but all the same.
Yeah.
Far too much. And it made me realize because I'd been telling myself, but I rotate my shoes. I don't wear the same shoes 2 days in a row. So therefore they will last longer. No, that's Isabel, the tight ass talking, right? Because they don't last that much longer. They still have a limited life, right? And honestly, being a tight ass led to me running in pain. My pace has instantly picked up with no extra effort at all, because I'm not in pain with every step. It's ridiculous. I mean, I know I'm a running coach. I ought to know better, but I'm a tight ass like the rest of us. And you think, the shoes, they'll be fine.
They're all right.
They're all right. The sock looks all right. That's normally what I judge it on. But just the difference. So I've got to make sure that I buy shoes way more often, because 9 months with high mileage is stupid.
Yeah.
Like really. So people, you need to rotate your shoes. You should not be wearing the same pair of shoes 2 days in a row, because the foam needs to decompress. And especially if you're running like 5 or 6 days in a row in the same pair of shoes. I mean, no, they need time to decompress. But even then, they have a limited lifespan. You are not being reckless with your money if you're spending money on shoes. And that's what I said to Ron. I love running so much, and I've been suffering for 3 months with all this pain and discomfort, and it could have been fixed by not being a tight ass. I mean, I spent all that money on going to Europe. Oh, but I won't buy a new pair of shoes. How ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like me saying, people spend all this money on running, but they won't get a coach, when the coach is the one thing that will actually help them more than all the gadgets. It's the same mentality that I was showing right there, not focusing on the actual important things. And oh my God, the difference. Like I said, my pace has sped up simply because I'm not in pain.
Yeah.
Crazy. And you know, a younger person might be able to get away with it, and maybe a little bit of me is still thinking I'm young. But now that I'm older, I cannot get away with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. If you know, and I'm sure all the other over 45s are nodding their heads, because once you start to get, you know, over 45-ish, things start to hurt more.
Yeah, that's right. You need to treat your body with a little
bit
bit
more
more
respect.
Yeah.
You can't treat it like shit anymore,
No.
essentially.
No.
So yeah, so just if you're feeling a lot of pain and discomfort, just try getting a pair of shoes. Like some of these shoes were only $130. Like they weren't expensive.
Yeah.
Some of the others were expensive, but we won't go into that. I also got some new trail shoes because I'm just finding my Brooks are not nimble enough. And yeah, so anyway, we're trying some new ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, the road shoes, oh my God, it's made the world of difference. And you pulled out some of your new ones that you had waiting.
Last time I bought new shoes, I bought 2 pairs, and
which was in October last year as well.
And I put 1 pair on the shelf for later for Ron.
For Ron.
And yeah, so it was time to break
them out. And did they feel better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah. So I mean, don't be a tight ass. That's the message.
Yeah.
Like us.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, treat your body with a bit more respect, like honestly, because it's just the world of difference. Now I've just got to remember that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is you also forget when it's not just being a tight ass. I just forgot that it had been so long.
That's right. And
I literally forgot.
Yeah. After a while, you forget when you last bought them, and you think, oh no, it was only a couple of months ago.
Wasn't that long ago?
But it turns out it was 9 months ago.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
Yeah.
God, time flies. That's a scary bit.
Yeah.
No, I've got a little
bugbear.
I don't know. A lot of, you know, I'm a coach, as everyone knows, in case you didn't, and a teacher, and I love helping people, and I love helping people with running, and I get lots of people messaging me asking for help and advice through Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and I'm always happy to help. Well, I always have been. I'm kind of not so happy anymore, because I'm finding more and more that people they ask me a question, and I sit there and I think about it and I ponder and I try to make sure I give them a really good answer, and I spend time crafting this answer, and I give them the answer. They read it and that's it.
And that's it. No,
they don't even double tap it. They don't say thank you. Nothing. They ghost me after that. And it's like, really, you got what you wanted and now that's it? Like, maybe just a thank you.
Yeah,
that's all I ask. Just a thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for your help.
Thanks for spending the time to help me.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out of your day and giving me help for free.
Yeah.
Okay, because you know, you wouldn't go to, I don't know, the doctor and say, not that I'm comparing myself to a doctor, I'm just trying to think of something. Oh, or go in the physio, and once again, I'm not comparing myself to a physio. Oh, can you just give me a free treatment? Just because I've seen you on social media, can you just give me a free treatment? And then you just walk away without even paying or saying thank you or anything. Like, you just wouldn't do it to anybody else, but for some reason people think it's okay with a coach. But you shouldn't not say thank you to anybody. Like, good manners dictate that you say thank you. You just say thank you.
When you ask someone for directions on the street, when they give you the directions, you don't just turn around and walk off. You say thank you.
Even if you go, fuck, I don't know what that meant. You still say thank you.
Yeah.
No, I find it really hurtful. Like, it really upsets me, because I put my heart and soul into every one of those answers. And when people just ghost me, it's like, really? It's left me in a position where I'm like, I don't want to give people advice anymore. I don't want to give them help. You know, and people are going to keep asking, and I'm going to be like, well, I don't want to, because I've been treated like shit. So, you know, and I'm not just talking about me. I'm sure these kinds of people do that to other people too. So if you're asking for someone for help or advice, or, you know, always say thank you.
Say thank you when you get your answer.
When you get your answer. And I'm giving, you know, advice that I have spent many years studying to get the answer. I've spent thousands of dollars, many thousands, some of which I am still paying off to get the answers. And I give these answers to people for free, and they can't even say thank you. I don't know. That's really disrespectful and hurtful. So,
yeah,
you know, at least say thank you.
At least say thank you.
Like, come on, guys.
At least, you know, appreciate the work that's gone into the answer.
you know. And speaking of, because of course this podcast is free, a way that you can say thank you if you're listening to this is to rate and review us.
Yep.
You know, like give us 5 stars or 4, whatever.
No, 5. We don't want 4.
And maybe even just like a quick, awesome podcast, or Isabel's better than Ron. I don't know. Whatever you want to write.
I bet you we get a lot more of them than they.
No, I doubt it. So that's a thank you for us, and we do appreciate that. I know this episode probably hasn't been, any
very instructive.
No, but people like to hear about the things that we're doing, and I think in some ways it can be instructive. Like, hopefully you learn from the mistakes that we make, the shoes, and hopefully learn from our experiences, like the sleep. And the sleep is one of those things, we all know the theory, but it's when it really hits you hard, it's like, whoa,
that's right.
This is why. And and if you want to get more of this sort of insights as well, you can always sign up for my newsletter. If you go on to peakendurancecoaching.com.au, you can sign up for the newsletter, and I always send that out and send links to the YouTube and whatnot.
Yep. And there's always some good advice and good lessons in the emails.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I try to keep them relatively entertaining and sometimes purely factual, but I always try to share some good information in those too. So anything else that we want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. Just we're, like I say, we're off next week for another big weekend of
oh my God, I'm
activity.
tired. I was thinking that this morning. We've only been home for 2 weekends.
Yeah, that's right. And we're off again.
You're welcome. When I signed up for this race, I didn't realize. I thought, oh, July. We're back in June. It's July. I thought a month at home. No, 2 weeks, you moron.
Yeah, I'm sure the good folk at work are happy to see me disappear again after 5 weeks of holidays.
What did they say?
Oh, nothing really. Just
really,
they had to change.
Did you blame me like I told you to?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah,
good.
Absolutely. They had to change a few plans that they had revolved around.
Yeah, because Ron's taken on a new role.
Yes, I'm taking on a new role.
A bit of a boss.
That needs a little bit of training, and they have the training plan for that.
Oh no!
Period, so they've had to move that around a bit. But
you did. So what did you say? Did you say, "Oh, Isabel signed up for another bloody race"?
I couldn't believe it when she signed up for this race.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
What did they go?
Oh, jeez. Wife, what are you going to do?
And you're like, yeah, like I said before, happy wife, happy life. By the way, people, I did tell Ron to blame me. I said 100% blame me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true though. It's me. Ron wouldn't be going if it was him. Like, as much as we love Sean, the race director, and we do, he is awesome, and we love his races, whatever race it is. We always love them. It's still a big ask.
It's a long way to go. After like I say, all that driving. I think while we were in the UK and Europe, I think we drove around 4,000 kilometers.
And when we say we,
when we say we mean
because somebody didn't have a license.
So I think we covered around 4,000 kilometers.
All right, that was exhausting for me.
So another 1,000 kilometers next weekend is going to be
but at least it won't be in the car from hell.
True.
This car, oh my God, it was a nightmare. The engine alarm would go off more and more frequently the longer we drove it, and then things would stop working. The cruise control wouldn't work, this and that would, oh my God. Every time you open the door, it sounded like shotguns going off.
The driver's door had a problem with the hinge.
I thought it was going to break off.
Bang twice. If you opened it, if I opened it all the way, it would bang twice. And
I would jump every time, a heart attack every time. And it never got easier to hear.
No, it was.
And then we got an email from the car company saying we've broken the door. And we're like,
it was already broken. It literally made the noise when we picked it up.
The first time you open the door. And that's why whenever you find something wrong with a hire car, straight away. Yeah. So we're fighting it because they're trying to blame us for everything.
Yeah. So we've learned, we actually have learned some hard lessons with that.
Yeah.
So
don't take a shitty car.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, and as soon as those the engine thing, we should have rung them and said, this is what the fault's coming up constantly. The door, we hadn't even left and we knew the door was a problem. We should have said something then, but we're just too nice. That's our problem.
We are. And, after a 20 plus hour
we weren't in a
flight,
best decision-making mode.
We were a little bit non-compass and just, so the lesson is, actually, the biggest lesson is when you hire a car, don't just let them give you the keys and then you find the car. You actually need to walk out to the car with the people.
And that's the thing. I've always done that, getting a car. It's never happened like that. And I remember at the time thinking, this is dodgy AF.
Yeah, they literally gave me the keys and said, said the car's out there in lot number, whatever it was.
Yeah.
See you later. And
I've never had that happen before, and never do it again, ever.
Yeah, no, you take the time to walk out there with a person from the car yard and actually with them go over the car, not just because the photos, they emailed me some photos of the condition of the car, and the photos were so vague and they didn't show
all the bloody scratches all over it and dents, and they're trying to blame us for that, and it's like they were all
the photos were conveniently vague. And so so make sure you take someone from the rental agency out to the car and go over it with them. Like
when I got the hire car in Canada, the guy stood with me and he goes, right, this is what we've got. He goes, look at it. Now you look at the car, and he made me go around and inspect it because I'm like, oh, it's okay. And he's going, no, go and check it. He goes, no, do you agree with this? And I said, yes, I do. Right. Sign here that you agree. Right. And he was lovely about it. Like, he wasn't mean when I'm saying he told, but he was like, no, I want you to double check it. And it's fair, because they're only human too. And they might have missed something. So I need to, so I thought they did that really well in Canada, but oh my God, that was terrible.
So
but anyway, lesson learned. Hopefully, have you heard back?
No, I haven't heard anything from them after
because Ron wrote an email and then I went, nah, not good enough. I changed it.
After we sent
I told them about the mental trauma.
That was 2 weeks ago,
and they said they would get back to you in 10 days.
In 10 days, so they haven't got back to us yet. So jury's out on that one.
Yeah, so honestly, because that's a lot more money that will make those shoes look insignificant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Oh well. Yeah.
Lessons learned. Definitely lessons learned.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you for joining us. Next week we might do a podcast.
Yeah.
When we're in South Australia.
Yeah, if we have the time in between.
Because Friday, we're probably going to not have a lot to do. And, so we'll see. We might do a podcast then, see how we go. Don't know what on. If anyone's got any ideas, please, because my brain's fried at the moment. I've been trying to catch up with work, not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
So if you've got any ideas, let us know. And but thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We do. We actually really appreciate it. Like, we love the listeners, because we love it when people say, "Oh, we love your pod."
We love meeting people who tell us that they listen to our pod.
Yeah. So thank you for taking the time. As I always say, like, I know there's a lot of podcasts out there that you could choose to be listening to, and you chose us, and we do appreciate that. You. So thank you. And if you do have any awesome ideas, please do let us know. But until then,
bye-bye.
Au revoir.